Do you need a spiritual breakthrough? Are you oftentimes feeling weary? Well, I wrote a book just for you. You will learn how to overcome spiritual warfare through the power of prayer. In this book, you will learn how to gain back any ground you gave to the enemy and fight from a position of victory. Conquer Spiritual Warfare is available on Amazon.com. Get your copy today. Okay, my honeys, let's get into today's honey for our tea or our latte. Y'all know I call today's news or the sweet things about life honey, which is the promises of the Most High God. And life's news sometimes, or the trials and tribulations we go through in life, can be that bitter tea. Because life is, sometimes up and down. We go through trials and tribulations. And I wanted to talk about today overcoming trials and tribulations, what they are, why you go through them, and what they mean on your life's journey, okay? Or your journey in life that is moving you closer to the Most High God and building your relationship stronger in the things of the Most High God, okay? So let's talk about what trials and tribulations are. Trials and tribulations are basically there to test one's patience or endurance. They are there, in your life. Sometimes, they cause you to feel a certain type of way. They make you uncomfortable because in order to grow, you have to go sometimes, and you have to go through things in life sometimes. So sometimes, in life we may feel weary. Like, have you all ever felt weary? Have you all ever felt like, oh man, I'm not where I'm supposed to be at? Have you ever just had, people in your family just leave you, or people that you may love that you thought was close to you abandon you, or maybe betray you in ways, and it just makes you feel lowly. Like, these are things that are done in life, and it basically is testing our character. And there is a higher purpose for why you are going through these things. Because just think about it. In order for the Most High God to trust you, you have to go through a refining process. Let me talk about what refining is. Okay, refining, or to refine, is to remove impurities or unwanted elements from a substance. Or you're purifying, clarifying, you're cleansing, you're sifting and filtering out different things. Because as a human being, or basically you were born with a nature of sin. But y'all know the sacrifice that the only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, went through, it allowed us to be purified, and it allowed us to have access to the Father through Him. Okay? So when you come to Christ and you come to the Most High God, you are a new creation. You are transformed. You're given a new garment, a new cloak, because our actions are always kind of referred to as garments, if you think about it, right? So what does God say about the trials? The trials are trials of faith. And 1 Peter 1:7 says that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ. So you're going to be tried with fire, or tried by fire, refined by fire, because God wants to root out and dig out all of the things that are impurities in you, so that you could become a new creation in Him and be perfected in the things of Him. Okay? So also, if we look at His word, right? His word is pure, right? So Isaiah 48:10 says, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. So I'm just thinking about some people in the Bible who went through trials and tribulations, and one person that comes to mind is Paul. Y'all know in 2 Corinthians 11:24-28, Paul writes about the things that he endures on his journey to spread the gospel or the good news to people. Life is not going to always be roses and beautiful, because you have to go through and be tried by fire in order for God to trust you and to be perfected in the things that is him. Your faith is going to be tested, because everybody, just think about it. It's going to be people saying, Lord, Lord, I did, all of this in your name. And Jesus is going to be like, get behind me. I never knew you. Because it's easy for you to speak things out of your mouth and try to perp and put on and, say that I love God. But do you really love him? Would you really go through things just to, spread his news and his word? And to do as he commanded and to be obedient, because those who love him are obedient to his word, okay? Think about this. So y'all remember Paul, he gives his account of what happened in 2 Corinthians 11:24-28. And he went through all of this stuff. Like he said, from the Jews 5 times, I received 40 stripes minus one, honey. He said, they threw them stones. He was 3 times. He was shipwrecked. He said, a night and a day I have been in the deep. So he in journeys often in perils of water and perils of, robbers and perils of my own countrymen. Because even in your life, you're going to go with, it's going to be people that's your own people that's going to persecute you when you're spreading the word, when you're doing things and you're growing in the things of God. People may not relate to you. That's why I always talk about that friendship stuff, because you don't need to focus on friends. Friends, in the words of my dad, are fried ends. We are called out, a chosen generation. So that means that you, just because you are a child of the Most High, are going to go through it, because people, think about how they persecuted Jesus. This is and also Paul, one of the disciples, he's talking about giving his account of this. He talks about, in the perils of, of my own countrymen, and the perils of the Gentiles, and the perils of the city, and the perils in the wilderness, and the perils in the sea, and the perils among false brethren. You look at that part, false brethren. How many of us have been in situations to where people that you thought could count on just, talk bad about you, talk bad about your name. They ain't have nothing to say about you, so they made up lies on you. Just because, they say stuff like, oh, when you decide to live your life right, because look, it costs, right? It costs. Your life, it's decisions in your life, it costs. They get mad at you when you decide to live your life for the Most High God and you make that sacrifice, because it's a sacrifice either way. If you sacrificing to do dirt and evil, you paying a cost. That cost is, what the wages of sin is. Y'all know what it is, what the cost of that is. When you do the right thing, you can't always be in the midst of the party. You can't be always in the midst of people. God may just not allow you to be around people of the chosen people. You can't be around a whole bunch of people. Sometimes you might be to yourself or isolated from people, so that he could speak to you and so that you can hear from him, and not voices from strange people and other things in life that's going on, so that you're not influenced by those outside environments. So sometimes, you may not be able to go to that party. You may not be able to be in the midst of the action or things that you think you're missing out on. You ain't missing out on nothing going to the club. You ain't missing out on nothing with these people doing the same gossip and stuff they doing and sowing discord and chaos and all kind of stuff. You're not missing anything. So those to my young people out there listening, you're not missing anything. In uni, all the time, you have friends, or if you in college, y'all may be able to relate to this. Friends always, coming to you when you're supposed to be studying, talking about, let's go party, let's go to this turn up, let's go do this. Those are people that's trying to get you off track. Those are false brethren. And then when you tell them that, I'm not at that space, because you should, if you feel like you are a person that is a part of that royal priesthood, a chosen generation, called out of darkness into his marvelous light. If you are one of those people, sometimes you have to separate yourself. Honey, think about Abraham. Abraham had to leave his kinfolk. Because you will have those people looking at you like, oh, you think you you know, on another level, or you think you all that, you think you better, and all kind of stuff, because you don't want to participate in the foolishness or things, because you know that you, as a child of God, as a child of the Most High God, you deserve so much more out of life. You know that the low frequency type of stuff and low vibrational stuff does not appeal to you, because you hunger after things of righteousness and things of the Most High God. Now, when you are weary, just keep in mind that you going through these trials and tribulations because you want to obtain the biggest thing ever. And that's just think about it. You want to be crowned and get everlasting life. Okay? You don't want to just try to live. You know how people be like, I'm living my best life. And they, you know, they say you only live once. That's not the truth. The truth is, the way you live here is going to determine your eternity. Now, okay, let's talk about what happens when you know, and what God says about the people that's weary, right? Let's talk about that. So, when you are feeling weariness, and excuse me if I'm pausing because I want to make sure I'm saying things correctly. Psalms 34:18, and this is KJV. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. So the Lord is there for those who are, you know, feeling weary. You know, if you feeling burdened or discouraged, like some of us, you know, even, you know, we work hard at work, and you may not be recognized amongst your peers on the job, because y'all got to realize that some of these folks is put in some of these positions to try to make you feel a way. So you might be on your job going through something where the person trying to make you feel like you less than, and you're not amounting to anything. But I'm here to tell you that that's a lie. That's a lie from the enemy. And just when you hear those things, send that right, say return to sender, and send that right to where the Lord, the Most High God, sends those individuals, okay? So when you're feeling weary and you're feeling burdened, just realize that there are promises and things and rewards that's going to be at the end of all of that. You have to be tried because it builds your character. It makes you stronger. You do not get power without going through sometimes some painful situations. Just think about it. If you being tried by fire, it's a lot that has to happen so that your destiny and things can be fulfilled, so your purpose can happen. Because you're not just here to just be doing this everyday regular smuggler routine type of stuff. Your purpose is bigger than that. The Lord talks about this in Matthew 11:28-30. Okay. And he says, when you are feeling, this is for the people who are feeling, you know, weary, right? This is for you. Matthew 11:28-30. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So if you are feeling heavy, he is going to give you rest. Because he knows, he's the author and finisher of our faith. I told y'all many a times. He knows that you're going to go through trials and tribulations, and he was prepared for this. I'm going to get into some other stuff in a minute. It says, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So he knows, just cast all your cares and anxiety and anything that you may be going through on him. And his word, because it's pure, is letting you know that he's not going to waver on any of his promises that he has made to you. Remember, I reminded y'all that. And if you are feeling these feelings of weariness or lowly, you can look at his word to encourage you. Because think about this. Psalms 105:4. Look to the Lord in his strength. Seek his face always. Because when you seek him, he will perfect in those things. He will be there for you in those areas. So if you are going through trials and tribulations in certain areas, he's perfecting those areas and building your character in those areas. Now, we're not going to get into this video because some things when you're going through spiritual stuff, Some people inflict things upon themselves, get into agreements and different covenants, but that's a totally different video. So just know that he cares and you're never alone. So remember when I discussed on my other video where I talked about Joy to give her encouragement, I talked about the ashes and or beauty for ashes. And for those of you who do not know, ashes, you know, throughout the Bible and ancient practices, they've been the symbol of, like, when I researched this, deep repentance, or, you know, like a mourning, or like kind of like a grief process or grievances. Excuse me. So if you think about things in your life, your ashes, or, you know, things that hurt, or your wounds, or things that leave scars and marks, they're not always, you know, they don't always feel good. You know what I mean? When you go through those processes, you may have been hurt by people. Honestly, you may have gone through, been hurt by people, things that people have said to you, you still dealing with to this day, and it's this messing with your confidence because you bought into things that people have said about you, and you don't need to feel like that. That's why you cast your cares. Any anxieties that you have, you cast your cares on him. So it's cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. That's not the version that I would say, but y'all can find that in 1 Peter 5 and 7. Y'all know they always got these translations going on, honey. And you got to get to the source. Now, you may, when you dealt with your ashes, you know, you may have been, you know, ill to where that caused you to get some scars physically. Or you may have had relationships that have left you scarred, or, you know, a childhood, because a lot of people that I've been seeing as of recently, they're in their adult life. This is why I love psychology so much, and why I'm going to school for psychology, to be a doctor in psychology. Their childhood is affecting the things that they're doing as an adult. This is why you have to cast your cares and any anxiety and different things that you may be going through, you know, on the Lord, so that you can be, the weight can be lifted, because you don't want to be that person that's holding on to all of that baggage and heartache and all of that stuff, because literally it can make your body ill, and it could cause you to kind of, I would say, sabotage relationships and just not reach your full potential. He does not want that hindering you. You have to just reach the point where you tell yourself, I have to let all that go. If I want to be the better person that's refined, where the impurities have been removed by him and all of that, and I've been purified, then I have to let all of that go, because it's holding you back from stuff. Now, you know, the other stuff that could cause you to have ashes or scars, or to be, you know, you've been betrayed by family, friends, honey, that hurts. You have to just know forgiveness, because if you want the Most High to forgive you, forgive, so that with all of your heart, so that you can move on past that. It's not for the other person, because the other person is still going to deal with their consequences, because you reap what you sow. But the Lord, and also the Lord could get somebody way better than you could get somebody together. And you have to keep yourself clean to, you know, keep you from getting consequences yourself. So the person that has may have betrayed you and did you wrong, you thinking about them, but the Most High God has a way to deal with them. And just know that the Most High has a way of delivering his own. Yeah, so he delivers his own. He knows how to deliver his own and the children that belong to him. So just think about this. A lot of times when people do us wrong, we kind of think about, oh, maybe like getting back at them and different stuff. It's no need to do that, because you spending all your time stressing instead of being blessed and highly favored, and that person they done did that. They not even thinking about you. They on to the next person who they probably about to do wrong, or thinking about that. But just know they have to reap those things of those things that they've done in their life. So, and the Lord will show you, because honey, let me tell you something. All of my enemies have become my footstool, honey. I look around, the Most High has showed me things, and it's just like, you don't even laugh at them, because it's just like, it's honestly, it's sad. It's a sad thing, because they're choosing to do wrong and call evil good and good, evil. So they want to call things of righteousness bad, and they want to do, wrong things and say that that's good. A lot of these people that be out here too, you don't need to really worry or stress, because they love being lost. They love wandering around. They love that. It's no need for you to try to convince people of what they should be doing, because a lot of these people who be trying to act noble or act like, trying to justify why they're doing wrong, they know that they're wrong, but they don't need you to tell them that, because they already know. So it's don't waste your time doing certain stuff or focusing on that, because that'll hinder you from getting to your next level and your destiny. So even if you are, maybe wounded from that situation, or you have ashes from that situation, let it go, so that God could give you his beauty in that situation. And then, I've thought about this, and I've spoken to different people, and the one thing that I hear is, life is unfair, it's hard, but everybody know that life is not easy. Sometimes it seems like it's unfair. Just think about the people in the Bible, like Job. Y'all know he was a righteous man. He loved God. He honored God. And he lost his story. He lost everything. Everything that he held close to him, he lost everything. And he knew without God, he lost all physical possessions, even people that he loved and held close to him. But he knew deep inside of him that without God, that he was nothing. So he overcame, the feeling of loneliness, and he was hurting, but he overcame all of that, because he knew the ending was worth more than what he went through. He was going to be rewarded for his trials and tribulations that he went through. And you could think about that, where Job 2:8, and a part of that scripture is he sat in the ashes. Because think about it, when things crumble around you, it's turned into dust. And that's what Job went through. If you think about, Tamar's situation, she trusted, she was betrayed. Y'all know what Tamar went through. If you don't, look at 2 Samuel 13:19. And basically, she thought she was alone through her situation. Her situation reminded me of, so many beautiful women out here. Just know that God will give you beauty for those ashes. Tamar was in a similar situation to a lot of these women in I would say the MT movement, and she felt alone and all of that. She had to pick up the pieces of her life, because after something like that happened to you, you feel a brokenness, and the Most High was there. And if you look at 2 Samuel 13:19, it talks about the ashes and beauty story again. And Tamar put ashes on her head and tore the long robe that she wore, and she laid her hand on her head and went away, crying aloud as she went. And God was there for her in her time of mourning. He was there. He never left. Even when these people be out here doing you wrong, because everybody has free will that was given to them. He wants you to choose this day. Are you going to choose life, or are you going to choose the other option? It ain't no hot and cold. It ain't no warm, lukewarm in between. He going to spew you out. And a lot of these people, honey, be running around talking about God is in this mess that they doing. And honey, they a filthy stench in his nostril. And he ain't nowhere around what they doing. And he is not responsible for the despicable things some of these people do. It is in their nature to do that, and they have chosen that because they love that. Those despicable things that they choose to do. They love that. So if you even think about Daniel, how, his family just did... Daniel and the people, if you think about the story of Joseph, Okay, so just think about Daniel and his kinfolk. When I say family, I really mean like his kinfolk and people around him. He and people have suffered under, like, I want to say, what's a YouTube correct word? I'm gonna spell it CAPTIVITY. And he prayed to God on behalf of his people that God would have mercy. He repented and confessed his own sin, his deep need for him. So Daniel, at that moment, y'all know the story of Daniel and the whole lion's den. In that moment, he knew that the Most High is where you draw true strength from. Even though he was going through, and he knew that the true strength and his help came from the Most High. So Daniel 9:3, then I turned my face to the Lord, seeking him by prayer and pleas for mercy with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. There you go. Beauty for ashes once again. Beauty for ashes. So don't ever think that your situation is such a hard situation that the Most High is not going to be there for you, because he is there for you. You going through these things, and if you think back in during times in your life where, I'm thinking about the story of Joseph, you know, Daniel and his kinfolk and his people, they was going through it, but Joseph just done wrong by his own people too. Similar to Daniel, but kind of different. Done wrong by his own people, where you may have been that person in your family where the family like, oh, he is the only one or she is the only one that is not fitting in. Just know that it's a reason why you're not, because you was called out for a reason. You was called out for a reason. And just think about all the things that Joseph went through in order to be in a position, you know, being under servitude, being, you know, y'all know his situation. I can't say certain stuff due to YouTube, but just SOLD by his own family, lied on, all kind of stuff that was done to Joseph. And when you think about it, he was put in a position, he went through all of that to be put in a position to end up saving his family from a famine. He ended up being able to be put in a position to be the one out of his family that was able to get his family out of a situation that they would come to be in. See, sometimes you tested or tried by fire to help or to have a bigger purpose than what you're already going through. You thinking like, oh wow, like, you know, this is hard, but it's for a higher purpose. If he would have never gone through that, do you think he would have been prepared to do that or been in that position to be able to do that for his family, or to be able to stand in the gap for his family, to intercede on behalf? You seen Daniel went and interceded, you know, his people, Daniel people, because a lot of us, we have people from our own communities that be doing stuff that be causing problems and generational things on the community. And like I was saying, that's the sort of things, you know, by their people having bad actions and things and causing things to be reaped in your community is why a lot of people in their community go through a lot of, I say, trials and tribulations. Those trials and tribulations, I would say, is different from the ones that I'm talking about. The ones where you're tested for your character is totally different. Like those in which maybe your forefathers, the sins of your forefathers in your community, you can bind that up, honey, in the name of Jesus. Because some of these folks, a lot of people don't realize that when they go on and they be doing, you know, negative stuff, they don't realize that their seed has to pay for that, and it keeps going until you be the person that be like, nah, not happening. I bind that up and I cancel and I void any, and you know, you insert whatever. I'm telling y'all, if y'all get this book, or my book that I just put out, honey, y'all could be, you know, it's so much healing and delivering that could be happening if you allow it to happen, man. I'm telling you, that book is powerful. Conquer these things that you have going on in your life, any adversity, feelings of weariness, and anything that you could be going through in life. Get that book. It's powerful. Now, in the midst of, all of these people from the Bible, their situations, apply that to your own life. In the midst of it all, the Most High was there. When we're going through, illness or, things with loved ones, shattered hope, broken dreams, He is there. He will never leave or forsake you. He is there. And if you allow Him to, because if you think about it, a lot of people don't really understand the legalities when it comes to things that are spiritual. That's a whole different level. I'm not really going to get into that today, but you have to allow and give permissions to certain stuff, because remember, like I told you, the Most High God, gave you free will. So He doesn't necessarily get involved until you ask Him to get involved sometimes. You know what I mean? Or He may, if he wants to deliver you because you His child and you have purpose, so that certain prophecies could play out the way they need to play out, honey, He gonna do that. But you also have to grant permissions for certain I would say negative spirits to have access in certain areas of your life. But that's a whole different video. So He's there. He's never gonna leave you. He's never gonna forsake you. In John 16:33 reminds us, like, that's where Jesus reminded us that in this world you will have trouble, but take courage, for I have overcome the world. Just think about that. John 16:33. He's overcame the world for you. The sacrifice that He made for you, the one that was sinless, took on sin so that you didn't have to go through some of this stuff. And even though you're going through this stuff to be, so that your character and stuff is tested and that you're built up. Because think about it. If you a person, let's talk about working out. If you a person that never work out, are you going to be strong or have strength? You might have a little natural strength in certain areas, but when you start to learn, or work out and learn different things about how the body works, you start to become stronger physically. Or if you a person, you don't start off, well, some of us are, we are in tune with the wisdom of the Most High God that He imparts to us. Because some people that I've seen, honey, they ain't never had to crack a book or a lot of this stuff, and they was imparted wisdom. So if you have a relationship with the Most High God, that is possible. But just think about, everybody is not on that level, so we all on different journeys. So just think about it, like as a child, you had to keep learning things and being uncomfortable until you were able to be, get equilibrium going on. Once you were in disequilibrium or uncomfortable, that's when you grew again. Maybe even riding your bike. You weren't good at first, but then you kept trying, kept getting better at things, and you learned different tips and tactics and strategies on how to ride better. So basically, so going back to John 16:33, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. That is Jesus reminding you what He did for you. So even in these times that you may be stressed and all of that, it's temporary. It's to build character. It's to build strength. Because like I said, in order to get power, you have to go through things to build your strength up. Like I said, basically, just think back to Joseph and what we were talking about. Would Joseph have been able to be in that position if he didn't endure the trials that he had to face? He was able to then intercede on the behalf of his family, even though they kind of did him wrong all the way. They did him wrong all the way. Definitely, they did him wrong all the way. Man, I want y'all to definitely know that blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. That's Matthew 5:11-12 KJV. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. That is Jesus reminding you. That's John 16:33 KJV. So if you look back at the Matthew scripture 5:11-12, it says right there, the promise is already fulfilled, honey. Blessed are ye. So blessed are the people when men shall revile you and persecute you. He already knew this was going to happen. And they're going to talk all kind of fly talk against you falsely for the most God's sake, for Jesus' sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. So even though you don't went through all of this, there was a greater good, because your reward is going to be great after all of these trials you endure. And Paul, if you think back to what I talked about in 2 Corinthians 11:24-28, and how Paul talked about how he endured things, because that scripture in Matthew talks about the prophets that was before you went through the similar things that you might be going through right now. So Paul went through all of that because if he okay, think about it. He loved the Most High so much, and he had a love for the church, and he had a desire to please God, so he stayed on course. He didn't allow that, because a lot of times some people go through trials and tribulations and they allow that to allow them to backslide and just be like, I ain't dealing with it. But when you endure, you reward it greatly. And Paul felt like his purpose was to please, or his desire was to please God. So he just stayed on track of what he needed to do, because he realized, I want to please God. That's much bigger than anything that I'm going through right now. So in order for you to triumph over trials, you have to think about the why. Why is it important to stay strong till the end? Just think about your destiny and your purpose. It may be something that it is going to be something bigger than you. Like Joseph had a situation that was bigger than him. Like David and Goliath. Like Daniel and the lion's den. Like, just so many people who had a bigger purpose. Like Esther. Esther had to go through what she went through. She stayed the course and ended up being able to save her people once again. So, we go through things in life because we have a bigger purpose. We don't know what the giant is that we might have to take down. We don't know what purpose that God has for us, because we only know things in part. He reveals to us things little by little. Because imagine if he was to tell us everything all at one time, honey, and we be wavering, our faith be wavering over the little stuff sometimes. So he reveals to you little by little. The more that you develop a relationship with him and you prove that he's able to trust you with certain things. Because he knows, like, honestly, a lot of people be looking like, why are they not at a certain place in life? It's because you may not have in an area that you was tested in, you may not have passed that test. He knows if he tries to bless you all at one time with this, you might misappropriate that due to your personality or area that you're struggling in. So I just enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride, because slow and steady to me wins the race. Like, some of y'all be looking at some of these other people and they be doing all kind of manners of despicableness, and it seems like they are prospering and all of this stuff. No. Just wait on God, endure, triumph, and your reward is going to be great. Do not allow these people, or look at what these people is doing in the world and what they doing, and allow that to deceive you. Because a lot of these people, honey, lives be not what they appear to be. So basically, just know how you overcome this is because at the end of your journey, or whatever purpose that has to be fulfilled, or your destiny, you want, the Most High to say, well done, good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your Lord. That's what you want. That's the ultimate goal. You want your name to be written in the Lamb's book of life. The greatest reward, the crown of everlasting life, is what you want to obtain. So you going through this little temporary situation, or you feeling weary, just remind yourself of the promises of the Most High God by immersing yourself in His Word. Put that positivity around you. If you dealing with people that's negative, get those people out your space. You don't have time for that because it's bigger, like that man from that video. It's above me now. I don't have time for for people to be on my phone talking that slow stuff they be talking, for people to just be doing all manners of whatnot. You got to stay focused, because you may be the one that is going to make a difference in somebody else's life. That's, or somebody succumb after you. Just like Joseph did, just like Esther did, helping many people. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind, what the end goal is for all of this. And that'll help you. I'm telling you, I talk about the promises of God. I talk about overcoming, spiritual adversity and all of that in my book. Y'all definitely need to check that out because it's powerful. It's going to help and help people to heal, help people to learn how to overcome. I feel like this book is just really going to be helpful to so many people, because I want people to be delivered. I want people to be healed. I want people to have, something that they could use to study along with the Bible, so that it can help to change things for them in their life. You know what I mean? Because things are able to change in your life once you change your thought pattern about stuff. Like, I'm learning that just as a young entrepreneur, as just somebody that has been through a lot in my life myself. Once I changed my attitude about things changed for me, because the Most High God, created me, created me a right spirit, or put the right spirit in me, so that my attitude changed the way I'm looking at certain stuff in life. I'm able to focus. I'm able to see what the Most High God wants me to see. I'm able to hear from Him and not be distracted by things. So check this book out. The ebook is available on Amazon, and the deluxe print edition with additional chapters is going to be available soon as well. I'm just waiting on that, because I want y'all to get a glimpse of how I got to the position that I am, because that's how you help other people. Like, when the Lord imparts wisdom to you, you impart it to other people, so that their lives could be changed, and so that they can have truth, and they can see what righteousness is like, and they can, I was hoping that this book, or I believe that this book is going to really allow people to build a stronger relationship with the Most High God. I feel like righteousness and wisdom is going to be imparted. So please check out this book, y'all. I think y'all are gonna like it. Okay, I'm gonna be definitely doing some story times to where I talk about how some of this came to be, or things that everyday people might be facing, because a lot of times other people don't check on people's mental health, man. They just, they'll be all right. That's just the philosophy. And I'm like, no, like, we really need to be checking on people. We really need to be, people are looking for, guidance in certain areas. And I really believe in that. I don't know if it's like I really believe in like the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, because a lot of people's parents don't impart the type of wisdom that I have received in my life. People have different ways that they've been reared, and that definitely, my relationship that I've had with the Most High, the foundation of it, my mom, who was an original woman, just allowed it to happen naturally. And that's why my relationship and the things that happen in my life and things have happened because of the work that she put in her faith, and dedicating different parts of you gotta help your kids so that their future is bright. That's what I want to say. You gotta help your kids and push them in the direction that they should go. Raise them up in the direction that they should go, and they will never depart from it. They're not going to depart from it. And I feel like that has helped me. So I kind of wanted to give back to the community and share some of the things that I've learned from different processes that I've been through, different trials and tribulations that I've been through in life, and things that I've learned. I wanted to share that with y'all, because I just realized that, like I said, people, they're not checking on people. People go through a lot, man. You never know, like, even in the grocery store, you never know why that person may want to talk to you a little bit longer than they should in the line, because maybe they don't have somebody at home to talk to, or to minister to them, or to give them a word, or to show them where to get a word, So there's different people going through things in life, and I just wanted to, if you're a person looking to, build a stronger relationship, learn how to pray, overcome adversity, and know where to look, I wanted to develop a book for that, and that's what I did. So basically, my book is available, honey, on Amazon. The ebook is available right now. Like I said, the deluxe print edition will be available very soon. So y'all will be seeing this book, and I'm going to be talking and giving a lot of good gems and imparting a lot of wisdom so that I could give back to the community, as well as, uplift the youth who, they don't have a lot of positive direction out there. They have these celebrities and entertainers and people that are not always the best role models. Maybe your parent may not have been the best role models. Get this book, I'm telling you, because it is going to give you wisdom in certain areas, or it should give you wisdom in certain areas. And it's going to teach you about the promises of God, how to overcome, like I said, adversity, and that changing of thought process will then in turn change the way you look at certain things in your life. And that's going to evoke change because your thought process has changed. So it's King Brittany Chanel. I hope y'all enjoyed this premiere. I hope that, y'all enjoyed my little gems on how to overcome feelings of weariness. And if you feel burdened, I hope that y'all enjoyed this. Y'all let me know. Did y'all enjoy this? I'm going to leave the chat open a little bit so that y'all can tell me. Y'all let me know. It's King Brittany Chanel. Already know I'm leaving the chat open so that y'all can join in on the discussion. Y'all can talk about, this live premiere, and things that you may have been going through. You can talk about in the chat and how you overcame them. Or even if y'all want to, like I said, give somebody words of encouragement or say kind words, or, even if somebody in the chat has said something and y'all see one of their trials and tribulations that they may have gone through, leave them a kind word or words of encouragement, or maybe one of your favorite scriptures that you like to look at when you're going through whatever you may be going through, excuse me. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the chat open, and I hope y'all enjoyed, and let's get into the discussion. all, now's the time to leave your thoughts about the video. Definitely get the conversation started. Let me know, have you ever went through any trials and tribulations? How did you overcome? What are your favorite scriptures that you use to overcome trials and tribulations? Also, make sure you all are leaving kind words of encouragement in the comment section. I don't want any negativity on this video, so if you are negative, I'm going to be removing those comments. Thank you all for taking the time out to watch the premiere. Hey, to all of the people that are just coming in the live chat, welcome to the live chat. We're talking about how we overcome trials and tribulations and why you have to go through trials and tribulations. And we're talking about getting the breakthrough that you need in your life today. So definitely, if you have not, make sure you check out Amazon.com where my book is located. It's available now. The ebook version is. We will be releasing the print deluxe version soon with additional chapters as well. So make sure you check that out. Y'all, let me know, let me know your thoughts. And yeah, we're gonna continue, and I'm gonna leave the chat open for a little bit, and then we're gonna take us out. All right, you all, we are giving our final thoughts on this subject. Thank you for watching and enjoy the last little bit of the chat. And I will see y'all on the next video. Be blessed. you.